it's Deanne Love here. Welcome to part 4 of looking at hoop transitions. They are the glue between the tricks. And we've been asking ourselves these two questions. How do I get here and where do I go from here? And there are always so many options, but in this series I have just been giving you one example of how to get to a certain point and then where to go next. And this concept you can use in any part of your hooping, and it will be a really cool way to help you to break down and understand what it is that you're doing. So this week is a very simple position or transition position, tricky to say. And it's out here, hoop vertical, hand on the outside, out on the diagonal. And you might think this is not really anything, but it's a position that we often flow through. And if we look at this position and we body storm or practice or play around or dance and think, how do I get here and where do I go to? Here's an example. Wrap. Here it is. And then waist breaks. Or if you want to, you can do upper body breaks. I'm going to break it down. Okay, so this hoop hug or body wrap, I'm going to show you how to do it on your shoulders in this tutorial and around your booty. Okay, so we're actually going to start in this position too. So if it's in your right hand, you're going to take it over to your left side, and I like to do a little head roll because I like to have the hoop roll over the top of my shoulders. Give it enough momentum to bring it back around to first position. All right, so here are some troubleshooting tips. What often happens is we bring our wrist, and exactly the same rules apply if you do it on the left side as well. So doesn't matter which hand. We bring our wrist over to our other shoulder, but the hoop is too high. And so when we let it go, it drops. And when it drops, then it loses momentum. So what we want to do is think about a wrapping motion. So bring the hoop over to sit right on top of your shoulder. Don't drop it off. Wrap it around. Now you can also turn in a circle and take yourself with the hoop, or take your hoop with your body. Another troubleshooting tip is make sure that it's not on an angle. And also make sure that you don't throw it too hard. Remember, we are wrapping around. Now, if you want to wrap it around your booty, you can get your second arm out of the way and you're going to do the same thing, but I like to take my booty in a little C shape. So you're going to take the hoop with you. So we take it to the hip and we wrap around. Now, if you go too hard and fast, like I feel like I did then you're going to end up having the hoop kind of like hooked around you. There are times in flow, because often things don't work perfectly and precisely. There are times in flow when the hoop will drop off and I might need to unravel to get to this point here. That's all part. You can bring your own technique and expression in. If it feels like it's a mistake, you can turn it into a dance. Most times. Okay, so now we're here. Epic. There are so many things that we could have done. We could have stepped through. We could have so many. But we are going to take it onto our body. Let's do some on-body stuff for this series. All right, so we're out in this position here. We're going to flip the hoop over and take it up into the sky above our head. And then I'll show you on the opposite side too. We're going to take our second hand on the inside. So right knuckles are out, left knuckles are in, and we continue the circle down onto our body. Now, if you spin to the right, you can push it on, but if you spin to the left, you can whip it back. Okay, so we're out in this position, flip, pass it to the second hand. I'll do it this way. Flip, pass it to the second hand, down, and you decide, do you want to spin to the right or do you want to whip it on? And then if you're in your left hand, you flip over, give it to the second hand, press it against your back. Do you want to spin to the left or do you want to whip it on? That can take a little bit of practice, but you got it. But we're doing breaks. Now, waist breaks. If you haven't done them, there are multiple ways that you can do waist breaks. And essentially a break is when we stop the direction of the hoop and we send it in the opposite direction. So if you're spinning around to the left, you can grab your hoop on the outside with one hand or two hands. So grab, grab, and push it onto your body. If it's not being pushed onto your body, you're carrying all of the weight of the hoop. So around to the left, left hand, right hand. Around to the right, right hand, left hand. Or one hand. One hand. So if it's around to the left, left hand. Around to the right, right hand. And what you want to do is then push it in towards your belly. These breaks are a great practice for balance anyway. If you're not hooping in both directions, they can be a really fun way. You can also work on what you're going to do with your second hand, with your opposite leg. You can turn and break. Turn and break. And if you're using a Poly Pro, you can do long arm breaks. I wouldn't recommend this with a really heavy hoop because you're going to potentially injure yourself. But if you do want to do these long arm, waist, outside breaks, you're going to point your fingers, middle finger, down towards the floor. And as the hoop comes around, you're going to stop it by wedging it between the fleshy part of your arm. Again, only for lightweight hoops. The fleshy part of your arm, and you're going to swish it back. So swish, swish, swish. Sometimes in the beginning, you might feel like you're kind of like this penguin batting the hoop, but you're going to give it a gentle push. Because remember, a break is when we stop the hoop and send it in the opposite direction. Stop the hoop and send it in the opposite direction. So stop and send, stop and send. Stop, 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 stop. So notice my arms are kind of coming out in front a little. Now, if you want to, you can also do these upper body breaks. I do have other tutorials on this. And again, we are playing with sending the hoop from one side to the other. If you're just practicing or you're very new to upper body work, welcome. It's so glorious, but I would recommend if you're turning in one direction, you can catch the hoop with two hands and send it in the other direction. Prepare to feel a little frustrated. Prepare to feel, I would prefer the word challenged. It's a challenge, and then it is such a rich and beautiful accomplishment when you start to feel it in your body, and you will, but only with practice and a bigger size hoop if you are very new to upper body hooping. Okay, so we did the body wraps, we came to this position, and then for this one, we put it onto our body. We did a transition onto the body. Okay, so it is a global hoop jam. Here is your contribution to this epic hoop jam. It's going to happen in the comments down below. If you can come up with some tricks to get us to here, comment. And then answer the question, where do I go to from here? What's your next trick? Comment. Let us know, and that's how we're all going to jam together. It's 2020. We're doing it online. So I'm going to read your comments as well and see what tricks are going to get me to here, and then where do I go to next, and do some flow sessions of my own based on your epic ideas around this concept. If you've missed the last 3 videos of this series, then you know where to go. I'm going to leave the links all down below. As always, big hoop love. Grab your hoop. From me to you. Mwah.